Okay, so spring is finally here, but what does this mean for the Ottawa real estate market and home prices in general? Last year, we saw the average prices peak in March and then a slow decrease month over month until the end of the year. But what about this year? January and February were very fast-paced months and inventory is still the biggest issue we face today. I'm going to give you my top predictions for the Ottawa real estate spring market. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. My name is Andre with the Meadow Group and I service Ottawa and the surrounding areas. If you'd like to book a consultation, whether you're a buyer or seller or simply would like to chat about real estate and where to get started, there's a link in the description below. I think the biggest question today that consumers have is, will next month be a repeat of what happened last month? Now there are many factors to this and our predictions are based on data and personal experience with representing both buyers and sellers, but whether it's the recent rate hikes or buyer fatigue or the lift of COVID restrictions, you need to consider everything, as real estate, and I've mentioned this before, is all about timing. The first prediction is that there will be more inventory for spring. The last 2 months have shown that we have a shortage of supply and that it can't satisfy all that demand out there. With spring comes better weather and curb appeal, and sellers are busy getting their homes ready with staging and any renos that are needed. But, and this is a strong but, sellers should not rely on their home to sell for the exact price as the last home did last month. Go back to January and February and find out a realistic expectation for a sold price, because we are now coming to a point in the market where the last sold property didn't beat the previous one in terms of a sold price. Remember, when more listings are on the market, the buyers aren't pressured to only look at one option. They'll take their time and fully prepare themselves before submitting an offer. Number 2, prices will stay constant. Maybe. Now the reason I say maybe is because there will still be certain areas in Ottawa that will have more demand than the others, and it will depend on the type of property, recent upgrades, and overall condition. Keep in mind that there are 2 types of buyers in this market. The ones that have to move now and the ones that have flexibility to wait a couple of months and can test the market. The ones that have to move now are the ones that will be the most aggressive and will pay top price for a home. Also, keep an eye on condos, as the first time in March, we saw more condo listings than residential homes. There's a link at the top if you'd like to see why condos might be the future of Ottawa real estate. Remember that as of last month, the average price of a condo was just under $500,000, and that is still where the average income producer can afford, including first-time home buyers, which by the way represent the biggest segment of buyers. I believe we've seen the maximum growth so far this year, but if you remember what happened last year, we saw another growth in fall after a quiet summer. I wouldn't be surprised that we'll see a repeat this year. The third prediction for this spring is we're going to see less bidding wars. I think we'll see more set prices by the seller that are at fair market value rather than being underlisted to gather lots of attention. We've seen a lot of homes being ridiculously underlisted this year, and many buyers confused as to what they should be paying, what the seller expects, and how many offers will they be up against. This is still a seller strategy, but one that can backfire, as many sellers are not being advised properly on what happens if they don't get an offer. What's the plan B? Remember, you need X amount of showings to produce one offer, and I think sellers are understanding that there's a risk to holding offers. But I'm not saying that all bidding wars will disappear. It will still depend on how much demand there currently is on that one specific property. We're still in a hot seller's market and have been for a long time. It will not change based on 1 month. Overall, I think we should expect some kind of a cooling off period as we head into spring. More listings means more options for buyers, less stress, and more time to think about the type of home they'd like to buy and maybe submit a conditional offer. Yes, conditions still exist in this market. That's the kind of market I like, and I'm sure most buyers as well. Remember that with the lift of restrictions, most consumers, I think, will still want to take some time off and enjoy their summer, and with good reason. But if you're a buyer, I would probably say that it's the smartest time of the year to buy, as the sellers that have their homes listed are very motivated to sell. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions about real estate, curious about a specific area, feel free to send me a DM and I'll be in touch. See you in the next one.